Tommy Egan just made two moves that don't seem like much at first. But when you look closer, they might tell us exactly how his story will end. A hidden message in a phone call. A subtle shift in who's standing behind him. These aren't random moments, they're the final pieces of a puzzle that's been building since Ghost died. And if you've been watching closely, then you know. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about legacy. Tommy Egan's story has never been simple. He started out as Ghost's right-hand man in New York, the street soldier who would do the dirty work without blinking. But after Ghost was killed, something in Tommy changed. He didn't just lose a friend, he lost his entire identity. That's when he decided to leave New York behind and head to Chicago, a city with no connections, no past, and no rules. A place where he could build something on his own terms. But Chicago isn't just another playground for a drug empire. The streets are split between the Flynn family, the CBI crew, and a bunch of smaller players, all fighting for a piece of power. And like always, Tommy walks in like a wrecking ball, disrupting everything. He makes enemies fast, but he also earns respect. Not because he's flashy, but because he's real, brutal, unshakable. The kind of man people fear and follow. Tommy's not just making moves in the streets, he's building an empire. He tries to play smarter this time, not just harder. He brings in new faces, builds partnerships with Diamond and Jannard, even though that goes sideways fast. And even starts thinking long-term. He talks about legacy. He talks about building something permanent. That's not the Tommy we knew from New York, so one who lived in the moment and didn't care if he made it out alive. This Tommy is thinking beyond today, but for every step forward, something pulls him back. The ghosts of his past never really let go. He still hears Ghost's voice. He still thinks about Lakeisha. He still carries that anger, that guilt, that need to prove something. And that's what makes this version of Tommy so dangerous. He's smarter now, but he's still got that fire inside him. He's not just chasing money or territory. He's chasing redemption. He wants to prove he's more than a soldier, more than a triggerman. And that brings us to where we are now. Tommy stands at the center of a storm. He's survived betrayals, made deals with enemies, and buried more bodies than we can count. But something's changing. He's starting to look over his shoulder. He's starting to slow down, think differently, like a man who knows the end might be coming, but isn't sure what kind of ending he deserves. This isn't just a gangster story anymore. It's something deeper. A man trying to outrun his past, while building a future that might never let him go. And that's why the next to clues them all, easy to miss moments might be the biggest signs yet of what's coming next. During the final episodes of Power. Book 4, Force Season 2, Tommy gets a phone call that most fans didn't pay attention to at first. No shootout, no betrayal, no explosions. Just a phone, and a voice we never hear. But if you've been following Tommy's story closely, you know the silence is sometimes louder than the gunshots. And this phone call, it's not random, it's a warning. Here's what we know. Tommy answers the call, listens for a moment, and his face changes. Not fear, not anger. Just a tight pause, like someone just dropped a name he wasn't expecting. The kind of name that grabs your soul before your mind can catch up. Then he says one thing. Yeah, I figured it was coming. And just like that, the call ends. No explanation. No follow-up. So who was on the other end? And what does Tommy figure is coming? Some fans think it was a warning from someone back in New York. Maybe Tariq, maybe Tasha. But the deeper theory is this. The call wasn't about the past. It was about the future. It was a heads up that someone is making moves behind Tommy's back, maybe someone close. Someone who's been playing the long game. This isn't a street-level threat. This is personal. And here's where it gets even crazier. If you slow the scene down, right before Tommy answers the call, you'll notice he glances at a photo on the wall. It's quick. Almost nothing. But it's a photo of him and Ghost from back in the day, one that hasn't been shown in seasons. That can't be an accident. That's a trigger. A reminder. And when he picks up the phone, his tone shifts like he knows the person calling has roots tied to that old life. Some believe the call came from a federal contact, possibly Blanca Rodriguez, who's been tightening the screws on multiple characters across the Power universe. If that's true, then this clue doesn't just affect Tommy, it might connect directly to Power Book 2 and the bigger crossover we've all been waiting for. But another theory says it wasn't law enforcement, it was family. The kind Tommy doesn't talk about. Remember, He still has loose ends with Kate, Egan, and even more dangerous ones with JP and D-Mac. And if someone's using family to get to him, Tommy's next move won't be business. It'll be war. Asterisk, that phone call wasn't about drugs or territory, it was about pressure. Someone testing how far Tommy will go before he breaks. And based on that look on his face, he already knows what's coming. Asterisk. This one silent call could be the thing that sends Tommy into his final chapter. Not just as a kingpin but as a man who's finally got nothing left to lose. Asterisk. In the closing minutes of Season 2, while chaos is erupting on all sides, there's a single scene that plays almost too quietly. Tommy is walking through an old garage alone. The lighting is cold, shadowed. He moves like he's thinking, not hunting. But then, something catches his eye. A car. Not just any car. A black Mustang, the same exact make and model Ghost used to drive in New York. Asterisk. Now here's where it gets interesting. The camera lingers, just a second too long. Almost like it's waiting for us to notice. And right next to that car, a duffel bag. Open. Inside, there's a pair of sneakers, white and red Jordans. Old school, and if you know, you know. That's a signature we haven't seen since Julio. Let that sink in. The showrunners didn't accidentally put those clues there. This is intentional. This is a breadcrumb trail. They're telling us, someone from the old world is back. And they're watching Tommy move through this new city, waiting for the right time to strike or reunite. Asterisk. Now, let's break down what that might mean. Asterisk. Theory 1. Julio never died. It's bold, sure, but think about how he died. We never saw the body clearly. We never got closure. In the Power universe, if there's no body, there's no death. He was loyal, smart, and even if he did die, what if someone close to him, maybe a brother, a cousin, is stepping into Chicago wearing the same code, the same respect, the same silent war against betrayal? Asterisk. Theory 2. A Ghost legacy move. Not Ghost himself, he's gone, but someone working on his behalf. A loyal follower. Maybe even Tariq, pulling strings from afar. What if that Mustang and those sneakers are part of a message? A way of saying, you're not alone, but you're not safe either. Someone's watching, maybe to help, maybe not. Asterisk. Or it could be Kate Egan playing puppet master in the background. She's messy, but she's not dumb. She knows how to shake Tommy, and if she's teamed up with someone from New York or worse, sold information to the wrong people, then the next war might not be on the streets. It might be personal, family first, blood deep. Asterisk. But the most chilling theory. Tasha not with a gun. With a plan. She's always been smarter than people gave her credit for. And if she's been quietly making deals behind the scenes, trying to protect Tariq, she might be the one who sent that message. The car. The bag. A warning to Tommy. Stay away, or I finish what Ghost couldn't. Asterisk. That car. That bag. They're not props. They're signals. From someone who knows exactly how to get into Tommy's head. And when you play with Tommy's mind, you don't just start a war, you open the door to the kind of ending nobody walks away from clean. Asterisk. Because Tommy Egan's greatest enemy was never the city, or the drugs, or even the cops. It was always the past. And now, the past just walked back into the room. Asterisk. Tommy Egan has outlived Ghost. He's outgunned rivals, outrun cops, outplayed entire criminal networks. But what if the final threat doesn't come from outside forces? What if Tommy's final chapter is being written by someone who knows him better than he knows himself? Let's connect the dots. Clue 1 was a phone call, quiet, cold, personal. No threats, no demands, just a voice that turned Tommy still. Clue 2 was even subtler, an old car, an old bag, and the smell of memory hanging heavy in the air. When you look at them together, they don't just hint at danger, they hint at a plan, a strategy. Something long in the works, something coming for Tommy. Slow and silent. Asterisk. Here's the theory that's keeping fans up at night. Tommy's story is about to come full circle. Everything he's built in Chicago. It's not the end game, it's just the stage. And the final act is going to bring all the ghosts back, figuratively and maybe even literally. Asterisk. Because Tommy Egan isn't just a player in the Power universe, he's the last remaining king of the original board. And kings don't get quiet exits, they get wars, they get betrayals, they get legacies written in blood. Asterisk. Some fans believe this is all leading to a final collision, Tommy versus Tariq, not out of hate, but out of necessity. Think about it, Tariq is becoming Ghost in all the ways Tommy once feared. Smarter, colder, more calculated, and Tommy. He's becoming what Ghost could never be, loyal to the bone, but willing to burn it all down. Their paths have to cross. Not just in cameos. In conflict, others think Tommy's end won't be a death, it'll be an exile. A setup, the phone call and the car, are warnings that a trap is already in motion. Maybe Blanca's behind it. Maybe, 2-bit flipped, maybe Claudia Flynn makes one last move that gets Tommy locked down for good. Either way, it won't be a shootout that ends his story, it'll be a setup. But there's one more theory. The one nobody wants to believe. But might just be the most poetic ending of all. Tommy walks away. Not because he's scared, not because he's broken, but because he finally understands that power doesn't fix the past, revenge doesn't bring peace, and staying in the game doesn't honor Ghost, it just repeats the same cycle. Maybe that phone call was a goodbye. Maybe that car was a message from someone saying, "You've done enough. Come home." It's the kind of ending no one would expect. Tommy Egan, walking away from the war he was born for, leaving the streets behind, not dead, not defeated, but done. Of course, in the Power universe, nothing ever ends that clean, so maybe the real answer is this. Tommy's not done. He's just getting started. But now, he knows exactly who his real enemies are. And if these two clues are any sign, they should have killed him when they had the chance. Every king falls. The only question is, will Tommy fall in silence, or in fire? The Power universe has never been about clean endings. It's about choices. Loyalty, betrayal, survival, and now, with these two clues, the silent phone call and the sudden reappearance of the past, Tommy's next move could be the most important one he's ever made. If he fights, the streets will burn. If he runs, the game keeps going without him. But if he outsmarts the whole board, he becomes more than just a survivor. He becomes legend. So what do you think? Was the phone call a warning or a setup? Is the Mustang a memory or a message? And who's really coming for Tommy in the end? Drop your theories in the comments, we're reading everyone. If you caught a clue we missed, let us know. And if you're ready for full breakdowns when Season 3 drops, hit that subscribe and turn on notifications. Because in the world of Power ... no one's ever really gone. And nothing ever stays buried for long.